So welcome to our latest podcast. We're at number 8. It's a good number. We love the infinity number. Thank you so much to all our
Lucky
listeners.
8.
Hey, the lucky 8. That's it. Thank you to everybody for listening, for following, for subscribing, for putting the comments in and that kind of stuff. Linda and I are really grateful to not just be talking to each other.
We do like to talk to each other, but we do love to bring people into the conversation.
Love it. We love talking to each other. That's absolutely true. It's nice, though, that other people are interested in something that we've got to say, right? So what are we talking about today, Linda? What are we talking about today?
Well, it's all about the key to power, isn't it? What's the key to power for this coming year?
Awesome. Okay, I love it. And I'm sure that everyone who was listening at the last one has been looking forward to it. So why don't we just kick into it straight away? Okay, so we ask pharmacists all the time, how important is your pharmacy to you as a business? And what's the usual answer we get?
Yes. We always get the same answer, don't we? You know, regardless of the circumstances, the answer is always going to be, it's very important to us. But you know, the fact is, Alex, you know, we've seen that there are a lot of pharmacies who are struggling with maximising their pharmacy as a business enterprise. And that's because they're working so hard in the business and they're so busy in the business that they don't have the time, or they haven't made the time to work on the business. And, you know, one of our clients actually pointed out recently that professional development for your business skills is also critical. So you have supportive staff, a better environment for your customers, and a better business.
Couldn't agree with you more. It's such a cliche, isn't it? It's a phrase that's been thrown around for so many years, you know, in the last, especially the last 10, 15 years, working on the business, you know, and people all think, you know, I think most people in business today actually get it. They really get the fundamental in there. And then the next sort of words that come out of their mouths is, you know, but I don't have time and that kind of thing. So let's explore that a little bit more in relation to what you've just said, right? So there's working in the business in terms of, what did you mention? A professional capacity, you know, making sure that you educate yourself, which we do in our industry. Gosh, there's a lot of, you know, self-development and education. We have to know so many things to be able to be ethical and to really be able to serve people and help them out. So educating ourselves and the staff and working on the business is something that we perhaps do haphazardly when there's time, if we can, when we can. So, you know, what do you prioritize? You know, I know that you're one of the leading business mentors in this field. What do you say to your leading clients, the ones that perform so well? What do you do to prioritize?
There's no question, Alex. You know, clinical education is vital. You need to be at the top of your game so you can help your customers and your community.
100%.
And so I'm fully supportive of that. And I know that that's something that pharmacists take very seriously, as they should. You know, you're dealing with people's health and lives. And, you know, you're in a very responsible position and situation, and taking that with due gravitas, I think, is important. But if your sales are declining, if you're spending, you know, whether it's too much time on clinical education or not enough time you're working on your business, and your sales are actually declining, then what happens is your anxiety, because we do, you know, as business owners, we're very tied emotionally to our business as well. Mm-hmm. And you know, when you become worried and anxious, that energy actually transmits itself to your staff and ultimately to your customers, and that makes the problem worse. And you know, not only that, but if your business skills aren't top notch, then you just drown in this deluge of discount chemists, price disclosure, other things. You know, the government not being helpful. You know, different pressures, I guess, start to get on top of you. And having business skills gives you not only the tools, but the confidence to actually, you know, manage at least some of those things. Obviously, some of those things are out of your control, but, you know, when you feel that you know how to run your business in the best way possible, then, you know, maybe you feel you're only getting there 80%, but you're still getting there 80% compared to if you didn't have the business skills and you were just buffeted by the winds of change and circumstance, then you're going to be somewhere around 40% if you're lucky. And it is really about luck at that point.
You're so right. And you often remind me of things, that are so integral. And I, humbly thank you for that. You talk about the emotional side and the emotional aspect of running business, and so many people are looking at stats and numbers and reports and that type of thing. But if you're not feeling great, you're not going to perform. It's like an athlete, and you are an athlete. You are the athlete in your business. If you're not feeling great, you're not going to your game. So that's a great reminder. And you're absolutely right. You've got government regulations, you've got compliance issues that are coming up all the time, things that you and I have talked about in the past quite a bit. And you've got people, coming out marketing against you based on price, discount this and best prices and that kind of thing. And you can often get lost in that. So you were mentioning about business skills. Can we delve a little bit deeper into that and just ask you, what type of business skills are you talking about?
Sure. So, Alex, working out the business skills really are about working out ways to lower your overheads, to maximize your profit and turnover, and to actually streamline your business with systems. Right. So it's really critical that you prioritize working on your business, even if that means you pay a locum, so you can take some time out of being in it, because it's about taking time, not necessarily about spending a lot of money straight away, but for what it costs you to have someone step into the dispensary so you can get out and actually focus, that then allows you the time and the creativity to come up with some solutions, and to also take an overview, both looking at your numbers and actually observing what's happening in the pharmacy as well, or pharmacies for that matter. We have many clients that have multiple pharmacies. Yeah. So you really understand what's going on in your business before you start creating solutions and then taking action. So if you're going to invest money in marketing and training, for example, having that opportunity to stand back, have a look at it, ideally get someone impartial like a mentor or a coach to guide you. Certainly not the people who are selling the product or service. We see that a lot. You need someone who can be objective and who's there on your team, rather than someone who stands to gain from, you taking on their particular advice, financially, that is. So it's great to be action oriented, and I love it when we're working with clients that are really into it and wanting to take action and all that kind of thing. But we always recommend starting with looking at some either low cost, or sometimes, very often actually, no cost marketing options. And these are often so successful that you don't need to look further. Or you might get some good results, and results good enough that they can fund a marketing or an advertising campaign.
So what would be an example of a low-cost business strategy?
Well, maximising your staff's performance in the front of shop will unquestionably help your sales and profitability. Having a vision and showing leadership, and that coming from the pharmacy owner, it has to start at the top, and that's you guys. And making sure that there's, and we talked about this last time, accountability for results. And that is going to have much more impact when people have got accountability for results than training, or training alone. So, if you're investing in training, for example, as one of your business strategies, you need to make absolutely sure that people are implementing that training. And, one of the things that is quite useful if you are in a training is see whether there are action points that you can create for yourself, which gives you the accountability to set that accountability for others. Does that make sense? Totally.
Absolutely.
So
it's funny you just said that, because one of the things that stuck with me from all those magnificent things that you just said, and I urge everyone to go back and listen to that again, because there was a hell of a lot of very specific, very good advice in terms of implementing stuff that'll work in improving the pharmacy there. But when was the last time, I'm talking to the pharmacy owners here, the directors, when was the last time you shared your vision with your team?
It's a good question. And I think it doesn't happen as often as needed. And very often it hasn't happened because the pharmacy owner has been so busy in their own business that they haven't had a chance to look at the big picture and think about what they want to achieve. And, you know, that's a key to be able to do that, and then do the planning and then do the training. And all of those things are fantastic, but implementation and motivation are even more important. You know, I think it was Picasso, he said some fairly cool things, but one of the things that stuck with me was he said, action is the foundational key to all success.
Yeah.
And, you know, so having the vision, creating the vision is taking action. But then if it just is slapped up on a wall in the tea room, or you tell your staff about it and then never talk about it again, it's not going to go anywhere. You know, the fact is that pharmacy owners have come a long way in the last few years in accepting and acting on the business reality.
Right.
You know, you know, you guys are becoming a lot more adept at understanding those things. And it's not easy because, you know, you weren't taught at college how to run a business. You were taught how to be a pharmacist. And so, you know, for many of you guys, it's been learning on the fly. And it's hard. And it's hard to pull yourself out of your business. But instead of avoiding it and burying yourself in clinical education, or even assuming that training the staff will automatically increase sales, a lot more pharmacy owners are understanding that there's more to it than that.
You're so right. You're so right. And you get the feeling these days that when you're talking to so many business owners in pharmacy, that they're just trying to do everything on the fly. It's a good idea, you know, and that's the word you use, but that's the feeling that we get. You know, they're trying to work on the business. They're trying to do these things while at the same time, you know, do the tasks that are mundane, but they need to get done, you know, order, send out invoices, you know, pay invoices, that kind of thing, you know, manage rosters and that type of stuff, and then just deal with the customers. You know, it's almost like when a customer walks in, sometimes it's like, oh, what are you doing here? I need to get stuff done. And they're the most important, you know, things in your business.
What is it they say? I think it's a cliche. They say, gee, my business would be so much easier if I didn't have to deal with customers.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, you can deal with that in a lot of ways, but in our industry, we know that we need more customers.
Absolutely.
We don't need more. We need to make sure that we've got loyal customers that keep coming back, and making sure that our pharmacy in their community is an integral part of their lives. Otherwise, we are going to be one of those horrific stats that we get to talk about and see happening all the time. And it's that working on the fly where the vision isn't adhered to, and as you were talking about, isn't executed properly in terms of getting the results that they want for the objectives and the goals that have been set. You know, so those are really important aspects of what you were talking about. So, you know, in conclusion, I guess, what is the key to power for this coming year?
The overall key to power, Alex, has to be action. Regardless of the market, it's about you taking action. You can focus your actions correctly on, you know, improving business efficiencies, maximizing profits, leveraging your time, doing your planning, creating your vision, implementing it. You know, if you can do all of those things, you'll have an awesome year and set your business up for year after year of being successful and continuing to grow and develop and improve. So really, you know, nothing happens without action. Action is the key to power.
Love it. I absolutely love it. And as Nike say, just do it.
Yes.
Right? But just
little swoosh coming your way.
Don't go into the pharmacy and just keep doing what you've always done.
Right.
That's what, you know, another famous gentleman by the name of Albert Einstein or Albert E. Einstein? I
don't know if he had a middle name.
Am I brain fogging at the moment?
Doesn't matter. Let's call him Albert Einstein. We know who he is.
Albert E. Einstein. You heard it here first. So, that's it, with the definition of insanity, right? So don't go out there and just walk into the pharmacy and just keep doing what you're doing because it's busy and you've got all these tasks that you've got to sort of scratch off your list. You obviously got to do that. We understand those the non-scalables is what we call them. But without the scalables, in terms of what Linda's saying over here, it's going to be repetitive, the frustration, the anxiety, whatever the numbers are. Good or bad, and if they are great, you've got the whole thing figured out and the systems are awesome, then wonderful. Then why are you listening other than the fact that you really
love the sound of our voices?
Exactly. So, we all know we can improve no matter where our pharmacy or pharmacies are at. So that's golden advice as always. Linda, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Alex, one last thing that occurred to me, actually, as you were saying, it was a bit of a light bulb moment for me, actually, that you're absolutely right. It's not just about action, it's strategic action. It's what action you're taking. Yeah. Just doing something, throw enough mud at a wall, sure, it'll stick, but do you want to be exhausted? Do you want to end up covered in mud? Like, forget about it. Yeah. It has to be strategic.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. And so, in terms of a lot of the stuff that Linda has talked about today is in the Pharmacy Breakthrough Checklist that you can actually download. It's the link that you've got here in the podcast. It is the only checklist that covers every performance factor, finding out how to compete with the big discounters and staying ahead or getting ahead of all the local competitors who are out there stealing your market share and your share of wallet. It's a 10-point checklist. It's very easy to consume, 5 to 10 minutes. Most of you, it's about 5 minutes, I reckon. You'll be able to get through it and you'll be able to identify where to increase profitability, positioning your pharmacy as the community leader and enhancing the morale of your staff and your team members. Going to work has to be fun, right? Most times it has to be fun. Otherwise, people will just give up. And, we don't want them to be down and mundane. And as you said, Linda, before, if they are not feeling great, they're going to pass it on to our customers and they may not return, right? So that's a biggie. So, remember to subscribe if this is your first listen to and share it. Guys, like you, if you have enjoyed today's session, leave some comments. But if you wanted to give us some good karma for perhaps giving you some great advice today, share it with your colleagues in the industry so that our podcast channel can grow. We do this for the love, and we'd love to reach out to more and more of you so that we can do our best to keep making sure that our industry thrives. And so that's one of the major objectives of 220 that Linda and I have. So please share, please like, put this on your SoundCloud, your YouTube, your Facebook, get it out there to all your friends. So next time on podcast number 9, which we are so excited for, where the smart money is. So if you want to know how to mine your pharmacy,
ka-ching. Ka-ching.
Ka-ching. If you want to ka-ching the pharmacy, where the smart money is, make sure you come into podcast number 9 and we'll give you that advice from us. As always, Linda, it's been a pleasure. Great to see you. Thanks for the words of wisdom and the advice. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Always fun to have banter with you, Alex. And
thanks for listening.
And ciao for now to everyone else.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys soon. Bye.